put your butt up. Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel for my Glamazons. If you're new here, welcome to the circus. I know a lot of you guys are on winter break right now, and by the time you're seeing this video, it's probably Christmas or right near Christmas, so happy holidays. I hope you guys are surrounded by family and loved ones and just feel amazing, and I hope you guys are having great food. But I figure what better time to have a story time. So I wanted to tell this story. I've gotten so many requests actually for an extension and some more details about my messy boss that I used to work with at the oil and gas company. If you guys haven't seen that video, I will link it here and down in the description box below. You don't necessarily have to watch it in order, but if you want to know the whole story and all the tea, I would suggest you start there. So we're just going to jump right into this story time, but before we do, I just really honestly want to give a genuine shout out and thank you, and oh my god, you're amazing, to my homies over at Teamy. If you guys know anything about me at all, y'all know that I love me some Teamy. They are so much more than just a tea brand. They are a whole wellness brand that's going to help you feel your best from the inside out. First of all, they're absolutely responsible for my glow. I get questions all the time about my skincare routine. Teamy is heavily involved in that. I love their oils. I love their Vit C serum. But today I wanted to share something with you guys that I think would be so beneficial for y'all, which is their wellness line. Real quick, these are my top 3, and it was very hard for me to pick my top 3, but these are just a few of the wellness products from Teamy that I really enjoy. First and foremost is their plant-based protein. I'm talking 16 grams of plant-based protein that has no whey in it, that's not gonna make you feel bloated or heavy. I love taking this right after my workouts just to help my body repair itself. Secondly, I wanted you guys to take advantage of this sale and look into this product called Gut Love. Prebiotics, probiotics, amazing for you. You have excessive bloating, you don't feel well, your energy levels are low, all of that has to do with gut health. Definitely look into it, and when you do, get yourself some Gut Love. Last but not least, this is for my girls that like having a good time. New Year's is coming up. You already know what that means. Wine is gonna be passed around. You know, you have to have a little drink here and there to, you know, handle family. With that comes some dehydration, girl. It's really hard to get your intake of water up every single day to make sure that you're well hydrated, and this is where Teamy comes in clutch again, girl. They have this product called Hydrate that has all of the electrolytes and minerals that your body needs in order to stay adequately hydrated all day. They offer this product with no flavoring, and then they also have raspberry lemonade, which is my favorite. And because I've been using Teamy for about 2 years now, I've kind of concocted some cocktails for myself depending on what I need that day. This is one of the cocktails that I like drinking on a day-to-day basis, which is very simply a mixture of water, a scoop of my Hydrate, a scoop of my Gut Love, and you stir it up and you're good to go. It's even this really cute, aesthetically pleasing pink color, and I love this tumbler, you guys. It is so cute. It is so convenient. It has this strap here so you can just take it and go. It also has this little compartment on the bottom that you can put your protein powder or any of your teas in here, so that way you can have your protein right after your workouts no matter where you're at. And it also comes with a strainer so that you can strain your teas while you're on the go. This thing is amazing. So I'm actually going to be sipping on this throughout the story today because, you know, I do be getting parched when I'm talking. I'm telling you, if you have not checked out Teamy and you have been wanting to or been curious, definitely check out the link in my description box. And of course, your girl has a discount code for you. This is their best discount all year. Definitely take advantage of it if I were you. You can use discount code GLAM30 to get 30% off of $50 or more. Don't miss out on this deal. Definitely splurge on yourself or somebody that you love. This is definitely like a self-love, self-care brand, and they just want you to feel your best. Thank you so much to my homies over at Teamy for sponsoring my videos and supporting my content so I can continue to do what I love and what you like to hear. Without further ado, let's get into the story time. I just spilled. Great. So just a quick synopsis for anybody who hasn't seen the first video yet. In a nutshell, I used to work in offices when I was younger. I worked in offices for years and years right out of high school. I was kind of on the path of becoming an executive administrative assistant. I wanted to kind of climb the ladder. I was in between working in offices and trying to go back to school. I ended up in the oil and gas field, which paid really well. And this was my first experience at an oil and gas company. I was 21 years old. I got hired on at this amazing company that was located downtown Denver. And if you've ever been a part of the oil and gas industry, especially at this time with oil and gas as it was at this moment, because like when I tell you money, okay, there was so much money that was being made to be had. And so I was getting paid really, really well for my age at the time. And I was being given this amazing opportunity to expand within this huge oil and gas company here in Denver. Now, at the time of this story and the time of my onboarding with this company, I had about 4 or 5 years of experience prior to this. So I applied to this job and I ended up interviewing with my soon-to-be boss. Her name was Diane. She saw my resume. She saw that I had previous experience. She definitely agreed that I was overqualified for this position because I was interviewing for the receptionist position. I was interviewing to see if they had any other availabilities or positions open. We made an agreement during my interview that if I decided to take this job, that it would be on a temporary basis, that she wanted me to be at the front desk as a receptionist for 3 months and 3 months only. During that time, she wanted to give me the opportunity to cross-train with any department that I was interested in. Then after 3 months, she would go ahead and go forward with the onboarding process of finding another entry-level receptionist and allow me to transition to another role within another department as an executive admin. There were 2 big reasons why I accepted this position. Number 1 was because there was promise of growth and there was promise of cross-training in different departments, which I felt like was really valuable as far as skill and experience was concerned. And secondly, but most importantly, to be honest, the salary was going to be the same as it would have been had I been an executive admin. She upped the salary so that I wouldn't be making entry-level money, which I really, really appreciated. Fast forward, unfortunately, my supervisor ended up passing away. She was the HR director of this huge oil and gas company, and she unfortunately passed away like literally right before my 3 months of being in this temporary position was up. And in our last meeting, the last time I saw her, she and I were discussing, you know, my position. She was very happy with my work, and I had already been cross-training in different departments, and she asked me which department I wanted to move forward with in transitioning onto their team. I ultimately chose marketing. At the time, I had been given the logins to all the social media accounts for this oil and gas company, and it was a part of my job to like post for them on Facebook, you know, our company events, charity events, you know, like our Christmas parties and stuff like that. I really enjoyed marketing. I really got along with the head of marketing at that time, and she was completely on board. She had given me the opportunity to kind of cross-train with accounting as well, but girl, numbers are not my thing. I love Diane as my supervisor. Her managing style was very laid back, and she was just one of those people that would give me my tasks and kind of give me a checklist. You know, these are the things that I want done by the end of the day versus the end of the week. And, you know, she was just one of those that she didn't come into the office every single day of the week, but she entrusted me to still get my job done and you know, upkeep with the office and things like that. Fast forward, Diane goes on vacation, and the next thing I know, I'm coming into work and being notified that she had passed away. I had so much respect for Diane because she went to an Ivy League school. She was extremely intelligent. She was a great mentor. She was a single mother. She was a badass all the way around. And for her to have gotten this higher up HR director position within an oil and gas company that is mostly driven by men, I was very much impressed with her. She was the type of woman that she demanded the attention when she walked into the room, and nobody came at her sideways, okay? Like, I had so much respect for her, and I was so sad when I found out she passed. Now let's talk about the meantime. When I was working at this company, first of all, oil and gas is no joke when it comes to their onboarding process, which was really, really shocking to me. You have to have quite a few references, but not only that, you have to do extensive drug tests. And the drug test not only is urine, it's also a hair test where they cut a piece of your hair off and they can test for drugs. So, you know, when I found out I had the job, I was like super, super happy, and the pay was great, and it was downtown, and it was just like, you know, this amazing job offer. And then, girl, I had to go and get drug tested, and they cut a piece of my shit off. And I was like, wait, hold up. And then after that, girl, they do randoms, and every time you have a random, they be cutting more of your shit off. So I met this lady named Veronica, and she was like in her mid-40s. She was the executive assistant to both the CEO and the COO of the company. She had been with the company for about 3-4 years at this point. I could tell that she was very much into herself. She was into her looks. She was one of those that worked out every single day. She ate boiled eggs every single morning. She was in her mid 40s, but she lived and looked like somebody that was like in their late 20s. So, you know, she was doing the damn thing. And I'm not gonna lie, she was very cute. She was a very beautiful woman. She had a very fun personality. So as I started working there, she was one of the first people that like kind of befriended me and started asking me questions. And she would stop by my desk almost on a daily basis and kind of like chit chat with me. First, it started out really cool. Like, oh, you know, she's just really laid back. She's really fun to talk to. Then, girl, as time went on and she was like stopping at my desk, the tea was becoming more and more scalding, bitch, like scalding. And at this point, she starts telling me more and more about her life, girl, and the dates that she's going on, the men that she's sleeping with, how many dudes she's been texting, how late she had stayed up the night before. Then, girl, I started noticing her coming into work extremely hungover. Like, I could always tell when she had a hard night. Starting on Wednesday, she would like leave early from work and go to happy hour with like people from the office or some of her other friends, constantly complaining about the fact that she was hungover. So of course I'm 21, I'm all about that tea, and I was actually like looking forward to seeing her every single day because like I just like the tea, girl. I just wanted to know like what'd you do? Who'd you see? Like honestly, even me being 21 years old, she had a way more eventful life than I ever did. Fast forward, and the story time that I told before happened, and essentially she like invited herself to a night out that I was having with my friends and my brother downtown, and I mentioned it in passing like where we were going to be hanging out, and she just showed up with her sister wearing this like mini dress and 6-inch heels. She was also flirting with my brother when he came by my office to come visit with me. We had lunch together right when he moved to Denver. You know, while we were out, she and her sister got like super drunk. She broke a glass at a club and it was so embarrassing. So we ended up leaving, and on the way out, I lied to her and told her that, you know, me and my group were gonna head out and like head home because I had already like tried to leave the situation and go somewhere else. And her sister ended up following us. So they were kind of like bar hopping with us without invitation, by the way. Okay. And anyways, by the end of the night, I had to talk to her son, who was my age, by the way. Okay. He was 21 years old and he was taking a year off from college and like living at home with his mom. And I had to talk to him on the phone that night and tell him, hey, your mom is like out here with me for some reason. She's drunk as fuck. And he was like, where is she? And I told him, you know, we're leaving Suite 200. And he was like, my mom was at Suite 200. And I was like, yeah, dude. And he was like, oh my God, like I'll fucking be right there. So he was so annoyed, and I was embarrassed that I had to, and it was just like an all around awkward situation. Now at this time, when all of this was happening and she's showing up to work hungover, and she, you know, was like trying to club hop and bar hop with me and my friends and my brother, and I saw her drunk and just acting a complete fool, she was not my boss. She was just somebody that I worked with. Okay. Very simple. So fast forward some time, and we had a new HR director hired, obviously, to replace Diane. So one day came around, this lady came in that I had never seen before, but she had a badge. And so I knew that she was the new hire. She stopped at my desk. She was a very like clean cut lady, same thing, probably in her mid 40s, very beautiful. She was blonde, dressed pretty conservatively, you know, like long sleeve button down and like a pencil skirt, and just very much powerhouse. That's the vibes that she was giving off. We'll call her Monica. She's giving very much Monica off of Friends vibes, to be honest. I met her that day, and later on we had this huge board meeting that I had to order this big lunch for, and I had to be present in the meeting to take minutes. While we were in the meeting, Monica was introduced to everyone. Almost instantaneously, Monica and Veronica were like linked together. Like the minute that they saw each other and met one another in that meeting, they were like, from that point on, girl, they were inseparable. And Monica and Veronica, damn, they start taking lunch together and breaks together, hanging out together. I would see them coming in and out of the office together. Like they were hanging out so much. They would make their coffee together in the morning, have their lunches together, started becoming a part of each other's everyday routine. And all of a sudden, they're work besties. And I rarely see one without the other. Well, girl, as that was happening and this friendship was flourishing, all of a sudden, Monica her entire demeanor changed, bitch. Not just her demeanor, her fashion sense, okay? What was once a very polished, put together, almost conservative looking woman that came into the office the very first day that she was hired was no longer the woman that I was seeing walk into the office with Veronica, because all of a sudden she was wearing tighter blouses that were a little bit more low cut. She was wearing tighter jeans on Fridays, and then they started showing up to work hungover together. They started hanging out together after work and going out together and staying out late. So what was once just a normal friendship at work started becoming like best friendship that was like all night long. These two women were acting like they were in their 20s, living their best life, coming in hungover, coming in late, sorry. And then, you know, as they're coming in, they have to pass my desk, and like they're coming in with big ass sunglasses and like, you know, big poncho looking sweaters. And you know the look, you know the vibes whenever one of your girls is hungover. Like, it's obvious, right? They're both popping Alka-Seltzers. They're both asking for Pepto-Bismol and shit. And like, it was seriously the both of them. And I was like, what have y'all been doing? So as time goes on, now it's not just Veronica coming to my desk with her escapades and her stories about what she's been doing. Now it's Veronica and Monica that are out there just acting all kinds of crazy and then bringing all their tea to me at work. And I'm like, and I am so here for it. I'm like, no way. Oh my God, y'all went on a double date? Girl, even I that was 21 years old at the time could not be living life like that. Like, I don't even know how they were functioning at this time. I am not y'all handle the Bible. It was literally like Monday, Tuesday, normal. Wednesday through Friday, party girls. I'm not even kidding. Like, they partied. They poured. Valentine's Day comes around. I'm really excited because I have like a date night with David planned after work. He was gonna come meet me downtown. So, you know, I'm like on cloud nine. I'm so excited. Veronica came into work and she seemed normal. She goes, you know, to her side of the office, and I don't see her for a good few hours until around lunchtime. At some point in the day, she and I were in the kitchen together, and, you know, we're just kind of making small talk, and she asked me if I had any plans for Valentine's Day. Entire life has always been with David. So, you know, I start telling her about David, where we're going, what our plans are. And I was like, what about you? You know, obviously she's going to be going out somewhere, whether that's with her bestie or maybe she has a date. Like, this is my crazy coworker that always has something going on. So I was like, what about you? Like, what are you about to get into? And she was like, oh my God. She was like, honestly, I think I'm just gonna go home. This did not sound like the Veronica that I knew. And I was like, why? I was like, is everything okay? And, you know, I'm trying to get the tea, but like not make it super obvious that I'm prying. Y'all, she starts spilling all the motherfucking tea. And it was beyond anything that I ever could have anticipated. She starts telling me that she used to date an NFL player. She told me his name. She told me the team that he played for. And I'm sitting there looking at her. Honestly, y'all, I didn't believe a fucking word she said. I was like, wait, what? And she was like, yeah, you know, he and I used to date. And like, you know, obviously he's busy. He flies around everywhere. She was like, and I'm not stupid. Like, I know how they roll. Like, I know what they do when they're not around and like when they're traveling, and I just don't feel like dealing with that mess. But, you know, we did have a connection. You know, we did have a really good time together. Apparently, y'all, they had been like dating, and I guess like he ghosted her for a little while because he was still messing with some other girl. And woman. And then after a few weeks, he started texting her again and like trying to get her to go out on dates with him when he was in town. And she was like, no. And she was like, you know, I would tell him no. And then he would send flowers to her house, to her job, and like send her jewelry and gifts until she said yes. And this was like a constant cycle for years, apparently. Now, to me, this is sounding very much side chick to me. This is very much, it's giving side chick, Sancha vibes. Y'all, I look up this NFL player and this dude is whole ass married with kids, okay? Oh my gosh, she's a Sancha. Did I say that to her face? No, the fuck I didn't. I just did my own research on my own time, and I was like, hold up, let me look into this guy, because obviously, like, I'm not well versed in the NFL world. And girl, come to find out, he's whole ass married, has a whole ass family, and I am sitting here working with this Sancha. So apparently she was kind of frustrated and in a bad mood that day because he had started texting her like a few days before that, and he was trying to convince her to go out with him on Valentine's Day, which was today. She didn't want to answer his calls. She didn't want to answer his messages. And so, you know, she told me all that. Everything went back to normal until a few hours later. I hear the ding Obviously, I sit in the front. I sit right next to the elevators, and I hear a ding in the elevator hallway. So, you know, I prep myself because I'm the one that has to greet the guests. And I see this girl open the lobby doors, and she's carrying these huge white roses. And, you know, I'm just sitting there and I'm staring at her. I'm like, oh my God. So immediately, you know, my heart starts beating off fast. I love to see girls getting flowers at work. I just think that that is like the cutest thing. Might I add, this definitely was not the first or the only flower delivery that day that I had received on somebody else's behalf, but it was definitely the biggest and most extravagant. This thing was huge. I'm talking dozens and dozens of white roses with a huge red bow, and it was a showstopper, okay? So I'm just staring and I'm like, oh my God, who's that for? Bitch, I'm gonna be honest, okay? I definitely knew that it wasn't David, and it's not because my baby don't love me like that. It's because we didn't have money like that back then, okay? Like, we were literally, y'all already know the struggle, okay? So I was like, who's getting flowers like this? She comes, so here comes the delivery girl. She comes, she drops off this big old vase, and she was like, can you sign for this? And I said, yeah. I was like, you know, who is this for? And she goes, and she reads off her list. She goes, Veronica so-and-so. And I was like, oh, so I'm like signing off, and I'm like, you don't say. Y'all, she walks off, and I am so quick. You have to come to my desk right now. No, not later, right now. As soon as she rounds that corner and she sees me, and I'm like, she looks at those flowers and she was like, who are those from? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't go through the card, Veronica. They're not mine. They're for you. Like, you have to come and tell me who sent you these flowers. Y'all, I was so confused because she was so annoyed. So she walks over to my desk and she like picks the card out of there. Oh my God. Oh my God. I already know. I already know. And she goes like this and hands the card over to me, y'all, so fast. I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is a very sweet card full of I miss yous, I love yous, I hope I get to see you, love. And I swear, y'all, it was from the NFL player that she told me about. I honestly started out this entire conversation thinking that she was full of shit. I was like, you just trying to flex right now. Like, you really want me to believe that you've been talking to this NFL player for years and like, he's not your man, he's not your boyfriend, like y'all don't really have a relationship. Girl, like fucking, I was floored. And I'm sitting there looking at her. Tell me why this woman pulls out her phone and starts like angry texting. And she was like, he is not gonna be playing with me for another year again. So she's texting and she's going off. While she's on her phone, here comes Monica. And I guess she was heading to like the kitchen or something, but she literally did a double take and like stopped in her tracks and was like, excuse me, like, who are these flowers from? So of course, Veronica spills all the tea to her too at my desk. So I get double the feeling and I'm like, you see, so, you know, we're all just chismeando and we're talking about this NFL player that, you know, she has been talking to. And then Monica's ass asked her the question that I had been dying to ask her, but I didn't have the balls to ask her. Isn't he married though? Yeah, but they've been separated for years. They definitely moved on from each other. They're just playing nice with one another until their kids are 18. Monica was digging in, okay? She was like asking the questions that I wanted answered. And so I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And Monica was like, wait a minute, like when did you guys start talking? And so Veronica spills all of it again. And they had been talking on and off for like almost 6 years at this point. And so Monica's sitting there and she's like, but if his kids are this age right now, then that means that he started talking to you when they were this age. And she's like connecting the fucking dots. And I'm like, yeah, girl, it spells Sancha. That's what the fuck it spells. It spells side chick. It spells whenever I'm bored, I'm gonna call you type of shit. And she was like, so of course, you know, Monica's looking at Veronica and is like, girl, you know that this is like a mess. Like, you don't want to get involved in this. Veronica is like telling Monica, she's like, yeah, why do you think that I don't want to play this game with him no more? And she said it. She was like, girl, I'm getting too old to to be doing this shit. Like, I want somebody that wants to settle down with me and like start a life with me. And like, he's so good to me. You know, he gives me all these gifts, and whenever I'm around him, he treats me like a queen. But then he just ghosts me out of nowhere, and it's like, you know, and all of a sudden I mean nothing to him until he's ready. So Veronica ends up ending the conversation pretty abruptly, because like she's kind of talking this out and just really going over why she was so upset. And she was like, just, you know, all of this is a fucking game to him, and it's just because it's Valentine's Day and he's in town and he wants to see me, and it's like a bunch of bullshit. So she like snatches the vase off of my desk and like takes off. She was like, he's gonna hear about this. I already told him to stop sending shit to me. It's not gonna make a difference. Like, da-da-da. So her and Monica end up walking away, and they're heading to her cubicle because, you know, she's talking about all her business out on Front Street at the front desk in front of everybody. So anybody who's walking past can, like, you know, kind of hear what we're talking about. So she was like, I need to go back to my desk. Everybody in the hallways, like, as she was walking back to her desk, was like, oh my God, who sent you those? Oh my God, look at those flowers. Because y'all, they were like fucking huge. Fast forward, I don't know what came of that situation. I never got updated on it. Fast forward a few months, and my transition to another department had been delayed because of Diane's death. And, you know, I was kind of like in this limbo period of not having a supervisor. I was I was meeting with the marketing director at that time to kind of, you know, give updates here and there. But even he was like, I am not your direct supervisor. We're still trying to figure that out. And I kept bringing up to him, hey, Diane and I had this plan. We had this plan that I'm not supposed to be at the receptionist desk for all time. And this was where he tried to play that game with me, like, oh, but you're just so good at your job, and like it would be so hard to replace you, and like you were such a great asset to the team, and you were, you know, you're the face of the company, and blah, blah, blah. Basically trying to swindle me out of my higher up position because he wanted to continue to have me as the receptionist, and I was overqualified for that position, point blank, into the motherfucking period. So he and I were bumping heads, and every single week I was asking for a meeting with him to kind of put his feet to the fire, like, you need to make this change because I am overqualified. My experience alone has beat out applicants that have like a bachelor's degree. I'm not even kidding. So in my mind, it was super important for my growth, not only in the company, but as a professional, to be at a steady pace where I'm not at the same level the whole time, because that just does not look great for my resume. It doesn't look great for my experience. And I knew that. So I was like, stop playing with me, right? So to kind of like appease me in the meantime, while they figured out what was going to happen with my supervisor and like me transitioning to another role, he put me in connection with one of the higher ups of the marketing team. I forgot what her position was called. We'll name her Kimberly. He puts me in touch with Kimberly and was like, okay, you're going to start training with her, putting me at the head of all of the event planning. And he was like, you know, we have board meetings, we have charity events, and we need all of this merch to be ordered. So of course, like any other merch, they sent me the JPEG of our company logo that was very high quality. And it was my job to go through these different vendors and order mugs and, you know, journals and pens and backpacks, mouse pads, like everything that you could possibly think of. We were slapping our logo on it and then having this merch ready to give out to people, you know, at our events and charity events and stuff like that. And I was under the impression that he wanted to see how I would do with this big project in order to transition me to a higher up role, like to see, can I handle the pressure? So I was like, hell yeah, I got this. Start working very heavily with Kimberly, and we had this huge supply closet, and they had all of their current outdated merchandise in there, and everything was a big ass mess. It was very unorganized. And Kimberly was like, before we can make any orders or create new merchandise, we need to figure all of this out and organize it. So I make this agreement with Kimberly. This is a project that I'm going to be overseeing. A part of my job as the receptionist was to be at my desk the majority of the time, to answer the phones, you know, to greet guests. They didn't really like me away from my desk for too long. If I was going to be away from my desk for like longer than 10 minutes, I needed to have another admin come and relieve me while I was restocking fridges and restocking printer paper and, you know, handling delivery, now organizing the supply closet for the merch. So I started, you know, calling on my friends, my admin friends to, you know, every now and then, can you come watch the front desk for 30 minutes, 45 minutes? And I started organizing that closet section by section, putting all like items together, labeling everything so that way we could get a good idea of what we needed. And then, you guys, I did the entire inventory. I counted every fucking pencil, like every single piece of merchandise. I created a master color-coded list on Excel that I gave access to Kimberly for so that she could keep track of this stuff. So I was really kicking ass. We're going through the motions. Everything's all good. Until I found out, I swear it was like a few days after my meeting with the head of marketing when I was like putting his feet to the fire and he gave me this task. I found out via email, might I add, from Veronica that she was now my direct supervisor. Time out. What do you mean? What do you mean? You are my direct supervisor. And it was such a quick email and just very blasé that I was like, hold on, like this is such a big transition. What you mean? Of course, I'm expecting like a meeting to like get some more in-depth information. Like, yes, you're my supervisor, but when are we going to have our weekly meetings? When do I report to you? Like, do you have any projects that you want me to head up? Are you aware of the current projects that I'm on right now per other people's request, including the head of marketing? Nada, nothing. There was no meeting. There was no updates. There was nothing. It was just from one day to the next. I was so fucking pissed. I was pissed at how they handled it, the unprofessionalism of it all, the fact that nobody pulled me aside, nobody had a conversation with me, nobody updated me properly, I couldn't update anybody else properly, and I knew that this was a recipe for disaster, and I was fucking pissed. I don't know what happened. I don't know what shifted. I don't know if she got like high off of some false sense of power that she had, but from one minute to the next, she went from like being my friend, coworker Veronica to being a complete pain in my ass bitch of a supervisor, okay? Every single thing that I was doing was an issue. In the mornings, we had like this coffee shop that was on the first floor of the building, and I always showed up to work at least 10 minutes early. When Diane was still alive and she was working in the office, she would have me make a coffee run every single morning for her, for myself, and anybody else that wanted a coffee from the coffee shop downstairs. Or sometimes Diane would expense it, but anyways, I would have like that first 10-15 minutes of the day as like a grace period to go and grab coffee for myself and my coworkers. I had been doing this since I was hired. By this point in time, I had been at this company for almost 6 months, and every single day, if anybody wanted coffee first thing in the morning, I was always the one making the run, and I didn't mind it, you know? So I'm minding my business doing my huge, and I show up to work. It's literally like 8:10, 8:15, and I have the carrier of coffees, and I have like 4 or 5 of them, and I come through the elevator, and as soon as I step into the lobby, there's Veronica's funky ass standing near my desk just looking at me. Before I can even get to my desk and set everything down, she's questioning me, and she's like, where were you? It's like, oh yeah, you know, I ran to get coffee, and like, you know, I do this every morning. And she was like, not anymore. She was like, you need to be at your desk, like seated, prepared, and ready to go to start your day at 8 a.m. That is your schedule. I know that this hoe is not getting smart with me. I'm taken aback because she and I have never had this type of dynamic, and I was just like, no, I'm aware of my schedule, Veronica, but I've been doing this since day one. And she was like, no, I understand that, but I'm not comfortable with you doing that going forward. We need to make sure that at the open of business that you are here at your desk ready to go. Did I understand that? This is the routine that had been implemented by Diane before she passed away. And what I'm telling you is that Diane isn't here anymore, and I don't want you doing that. You have to be at your desk ready to go by 8 a.m. Y'all, I'm looking at her, and it is so hard for me to literally bite my tongue. Like everything in me wanted to go off on this woman and be like, who the fuck are you? Who are you to tell me when I need to be at work and what time, and that I need to be here right at 8 a.m. sharp, when the entirety of my time being at this company, you have a hard time showing up to work on most days on time, not to mention being absolutely hung over up the ass to where you can't even be effective or efficient in anything that you do. And then you started handing off and delegating responsibilities to me to help you out because you were hungover. Y'all, that's the type of shit that I had done for Veronica before all this happened. So I'm like looking at her and I'm like, who? Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. You forget who it is that you're talking to, who you've been behaving this way in front of, who you came out with to club, uninvited, might I add, getting shit-faced in front of me, being completely unprofessional, lacking tact, letting me know about all of your sexual escapades, being completely 100% inappropriate, you and your little bestie work friend coming in and out of this office, leaving early, coming in late, all hungover, like who? Pump the brakes. Obviously, I can't say all of that, so I just stare at her. Understood. Understood. This won't happen again. I point to the cop. This won't happen again. Trust and believe me. And you can go ahead and tell everyone that I will no longer be making these coffee trips, okay? You know, actually, that's actually a really good idea. I'll go ahead and send out a mass email because that is not your job. You know, they can go get their own coffee. And I was like, okay. All right, Veronica. Okay. Don't worry about it. I won't do that again. Trust. I decided to be pretty petty because you're not about to be on my ass when I'm over here trying to create a nice environment for me and my coworkers and doing what I've always done since day one of being here. And then you think I'm not going to call you out on your bullshit? Bet. I was so pissed that I was literally motivated every single morning to get up at the ass crack of dawn to ensure that I was at work at least a half hour early. That way I could be sitting there to see exactly at what time this hoe was showing up. And do you know how many times she was late? And every single time, hi Veronica, it's already 8:11 a.m. Hi Veronica, it's 8:27. Is everything okay? Did you have an emergency? Hi Veronica, it's 8:30. Oh, you had an errand to run? Oh, okay. I understand, but our full working hours start at 8 a.m. She started giving me attitude to where, like, when she would walk in the office, before I could say anything, yes, I know it's 8:12, Nikki. I know I had an issue, you know, with the parking lot, or, you know, I was running late, or there was an accident on the highway, to where, like, she was walking in with excuses for me. And I was like, I will never be put in the position to answer to you like that ever again. Now, you're gonna feel the pressure of my ass being here. You wanted me here on time, bitch, I'll do you one better. I will be here early, and I will see when your ass is coming in, because you're not about to be on my ass when you're over here displaying such unprofessionalism and you're not even at your fucking desk ready to work at 8 a.m., okay? Miss me with that. I had 2 kitchens on the floor that I was also responsible for to ensure that there weren't any dishes or mugs in the sink. I was basically the fucking office maid. I had to make sure that everything was clean, stocked, and orderly by the end of every day. And that takes time. So I know that somebody needs to be at the desk, so I started calling in backup to relieve me while I did my closing duties. Tell me why that became a problem too. All of a sudden, I'm being pulled to Veronica's desk. Can you meet me at my desk? And I go over there and I'm like, what the fuck is it now? And she was like, so can you like tell me what your schedule looks like towards the end of the day? This is why I wanted a meeting when this transition took place. If you want to be updated on your new employee and you are superior of someone, it would behoove you to meet with them so that you are updated on any current projects that they're working on, you're updated on any partnerships that they have within the office, and you're updated on their current process and procedure and schedule throughout the day. This would have been beneficial for us to have talked about in the beginning. But no, you wanted to roll with the flow, and now I have to be called to your desk in the middle of the fucking day with the question of what does your schedule look like? So I tell her, and she's like, oh, well, you know, the other admins, you know, they have to do their closeout duties as well. And I was like what, Veronica? I do all the closeout duties, like as far as kitchens and printers and all that shit is concerned. And she was like, no, but like, you know, they have to finish their projects too. And I was like, well, what do you propose I do? I'm under the impression that the kitchens and restocking and the conference rooms are a part of my job description, yes? Well, yes. And I was like, okay, so when exactly do you expect me to get this done? And she was like, well, I understand that. She was like, I just think that we need to plan a specific amount of time that also leaves the other admins time to get all of their things wrapped up. And I was like, Veronica, we have been doing this for months. They already know that one of them is going to get called to my desk for like the last half hour of the day, so that I can do closeout duties, and they've been fine with it up until this point. She was like, well, I'm not. Sometimes some of our guests need to have their parking validated. And I was like, whoever is at the desk can fucking validate the park. Oh my God. Midway throughout this conversation, I just came to terms with the fact that she just wanted to have a problem. So I was like, okay, you don't see any other resolutions to this. You don't see any other solutions or ways to remedy this situation. That's fine. I won't do that either. I was like, if you guys can't give me the last 30 minutes of the day, I will, get the conference rooms and the kitchens straightened up earlier in the day. However, if anybody comes into the kitchens or the conference rooms after that point in time, and then they are not up to par the next morning, I do not want to be responsible. I will make sure that everyone understands that. And I was like, okay, thanks. Thanks for the meeting. Remember how I told you guys that I had been helping out with the marketing closet and all of the merchandise and all of that? Well, I had already done all of the organization piece of the entire closet, got the Excel spreadsheet, updated everything. So we finally got to the point where we were mass ordering the merchandise, like the new year merchandise, and we were ordering in bulk. So one day came around and we had boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes delivered, to where I had to take up an entire conference room to have these delivery guys just drop off all these boxes so that I could go through them, do inventory, update the list, and put them in their designated spots within the closet. I get a hold of Kimberly and I'm like, hey girl, all of our merchandise is here. And she was like, okay, I'll be right there. So we're actually really excited because, a lot of the merchandise looked really good. Like we had hoodies ordered, we had rain jackets ordered, umbrellas. So I'm excited, Kimberly's excited, and we both meet up in the conference room. Now this conference room was literally right behind my front desk. The wall of the conference room was the same wall that my desk was up against on the other side. So it was like literally right there. So there I go in the conference room with Kimberly. We have all of this inventory to go through. We had this scheduled to be delivered on a Friday. So that way, we weren't interfering with any other meetings or having anybody with all of this mess, because it is a very messy situation at first. So we're in there, we're doing our thing, we're talking, we're organizing, we're doing inventory, doing our job. All of a sudden, the door of the conference room opens and I hear Veronica say, what is going on in here? This is my supervisor, but Kimberly is one of the heads of the marketing department. So I'm like, you can ask her what's going on here, because I'm not going to answer that question. The charity event that we have scheduled for next weekend, that is huge. We're going to have a lot of our board members attending. Remember, I let you know about this, Veronica. And they're staring each other down, and I'm like, she was like, well, you're also aware that we have been utilizing Nikki's help with the organization of the merchandise closet and the ordering of merchandise. And right now we're doing inventory. We just got this huge delivery in, and Nikki's helping me with that. Y'all, tell me why Veronica looks at Kimberly and was like, and when exactly did you ask me if that was okay? Kimberly shoots back, I don't have to ask you because I got permission from Mike. Mike is the director of marketing. He is up there with the CEO, the COO, he's up there. And that was Kimberly's boss. So Kimberly's looking at Veronica why would I ask you for permission about anything when I got my orders from way higher up than you? And it was specifically about Nikki helping us with this entire project. So if you have any questions or concerns about Nikki's involvement with this project, you can take it up with Mike. So Veronica takes that and she was like, I will. She was like, until then, Nikki, I need you back at your desk to ensure that the phones are being answered. And y'all, Kimberly got an attitude. She was like, we can hear the phones from here, Veronica. I need her help. I need Nikki to do her job as the receptionist, Kimberly. Y'all, they're having this super awkward stand down that they're both trying to remain professional, but you can tell that they're this close to going off on one another. And Kimberly's looking at Veronica like, I'm gonna kill you. And Veronica would not back down. She had a lot of nerve. When I tell you, she took her position as my boss very seriously, and she was not about to let nobody tell her what I was gonna do. She wanted to be asked for permission to utilize me. So I get sent back to my desk and basically dismissed from this project that I had been heading up for weeks now because my newly appointed boss doesn't like me being involved and being away from my desk for too long. And I was fucking pissed because like this was like my baby. Like I had done all of this and done all the hard work of it and all the organization. What the fuck you mean? Tell me why this turned into a whole situation that by the next week I was pulled into a meeting with Kimberly, the head of marketing, Mike, Veronica, and Veronica's boss, the COO of the company, for all of them to discuss whether or not I could help with the marketing projects and the marketing merchandise and the social media and all of that. It was so unbelievably ridiculous that we had to come together in this meeting, and Veronica was just like, no, but like we have to maintain the front desk schedule. And Mike was like, yes, but Nikki has been cross-trained with marketing. She's been helping since she was onboarded with Diane. And Veronica was like, yes, but you know, now I am her supervisor. It is my job to ensure that her job is being done right. And so, you know, she had the backing of the COO, and the COO was like, yeah, you know, the receptionist should only have her job duties. And Mike was looking at the COO and was like, yes, but Nikki was not onboarded as just a receptionist by Diane. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So like, you guys, it was so much back and forth, and they ended up compromising, and I had to go by a very specific schedule. So only a few hours of my day could I actually utilize for marketing purposes and to finish marketing projects. And I could try to help out where I could, but other than that, the majority of my day, I had to stick to my regular receptionist duties, even if that meant me sitting there with nothing to do. If we were having a slow day or no clients were coming in or no meetings were being had, I still could not help with marketing outside of that window of time that I was given the green light to help with marketing. And because before, when I was working with Diane, anytime I had any downtime, she always was such a big proponent for me doing other projects and helping out different departments if they needed it. I was basically chained to that front desk outside of my 15-minute breaks and my lunch every day. That is the story of this portion of my experience working alongside my messy boss, Veronica. But trust and believe me, it is not the end. I will definitely do another story time if you guys are interested in hearing it. And I can tell you guys the story about how and why I ended up leaving this position solely because of my experience with my messy ass boss, Veronica. Also, don't forget to check out Teamy using the link in my description box. You guys can check out their plethora of amazing products for your health and wellness journey. I think you guys would really enjoy them. Also, don't forget to use my discount code GLAM30 for 30% off, $50 or more. Of course, let them know that your girl Nikki sent you. I think you guys would really enjoy them. If you do try them out, let me know how you like them and your experience. Thank you guys so much for being here and spending some of your holiday season with little old me. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see your fine ass in my next video. Peace out, y'all.